Good morning. We are continuing with Unit 9 with all of our shapes. Today we are doing CO56. I can calculate the surface area of a rectangular prism. So we're working on that surface area. So in order to calculate the surface area, we need to know what a surface area is. So the surface area is the sum of the areas of the outside surfaces of the solid. So we're going to look at those faces. We want to find the area of each of the faces and add them all together. A net is a two-dimensional representation of a solid. So a net is when we take that solid and we open it up. So think about having a box and you need to cut down the sides so the box lays flat. So we're going to flatten out our shapes so they're one flat shape. So the surface area of a rectangular prism is equal to the area of its net. So if we take our rectangular prism, so we have our rectangular prism, right? That's our box. We need to lay it flat. So we're going to pretend like we are cutting it open. So if we cut on the sides, we want our rectangle base, or the bottom, sorry. So we have our bottom, then we have our base on this side, and our base on this side. How many more rectangles do we have? I've got my bottom one, then I have 1, 2, 3 more sides. So I could have one here, and one here. So do you see how if we were to fold it up, we would get our box? Yeah. We need to know nets and how to use nets. So it's a net, and it's imagining that we are just cutting it open and laying it down flat. So we're going to be getting measurements for the different lengths. And we're going to find the area of each of these shapes to find our surface area. So the surface area means you find each individual shape's area and then you add them all together. Brielle, can we put those away so we don't distract people from this? So I'm going to erase this just so we can see a little better. So finding the surface area using a net. Find the surface area of a rectangular prism whose length is 6 inches, width is 4 inches, and height is 3 inches. So I'm going to draw my rectangular prism. I'm going to put in those measurements. So my length is 6 inches, my width is 4 inches, and my height is 3 inches. I need to now lay that rectangular prism out flat. So just like we had done. So I'm going to take the bottom rectangle, and then my two bases. And then I know it's a rectangular prism, so I need 4 big rectangles. I need to put my measurements on there. So help me figure out what my measurements are for each rectangle. Will?
The 4 big ones, and it be 6 inches.
So the long edge is going to be 6. So each long edge is 6 inches. Gregory, make sure you listen to the video so you can do the worksheet for today. What other measurement can I fill in? Zoe, the edges on the side, each edge on the side is 4 inches. Can I figure out my big rectangle's lengths right now? Yeah, because we know it's length times width. So what is 6 times 4? Notice how I'm going to write my area inside each shape. And I'm going to circle it so I know it's the area. Because each of these rectangles is 24 inches squared. Can I figure out my little rectangles yet? I need to put in my last measurement. What is my last measurement, Will? 3. We know our height is 3. So that is 3. So here is 3 and here is 4. What is 3 times 4?
12.
12. So each small measurement is 12. So what do I have to do to find my surface area now? I found each shape. What do I do now, Brielle? Add them all up. I have 6 shapes, so I have 6 areas. I know 12 plus 12 is 24. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 24s. Instead of actually adding them all up, I could just make it a little easier on myself and say 24 times 5. And say, okay, it's 70 inches squared.
That's not.
Oh gosh, I added the 2 and the 7. See how easy it is to make those mistakes. I multiplied wrong. I added, goodness gracious, Mrs. Gambino. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2, so it should be 120 inches squared. Does that look better? Good catch. So if I added 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 12 plus 12, I should get 120 inches squared. I made it a little simpler on myself because I knew 12 plus 12 was 24, and then I had 5 24s. So instead of having to type in all those numbers into the calculator, I just did 24 times 5. Either way works. You get the same answer. How are we feeling about that? So, yes. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I added these 2 together. Oh. So I added the 2 small rectangles and they equal the large rectangle. Okay. If it's easier for you to just add up all 6 sides, just add up all 6 sides. You get the same answer. Let's try, well, let's see what else we're going to be working on. This time, we have a rectangular prism. And it says the surface area S of the rectangular prism is the sum of the areas of its faces. That's what we just did. We did the sum of the areas of its faces. So we could do 2 times the length and the width plus 2 times the length and the height plus 2 times the width and the height. So it's finding it in slightly different ways. So finding the surface area using a formula. So this time, instead of laying it out flat and drawing the picture of your net and figuring it out, we're going to use a formula. So it says 2 times the length and the width. So if my rectangular prism has a length of 15, that should have an M there, a length of 15 meters, a width of 2 meters, and a height of 5 meters. So my first one is 2 times the length and the width, plus 2 times the length and the height, plus 2 times the width and the height. So let's fill in our numbers. Peyton,
Yes.
what am I going to put first?
You're
2
going to
times
put
what?
2 times 4. Could you add 2 plus 2?
Nope.
Yeah, You do 2 times.
Length times width. What is my length and what is my width?
So the width is 2, so you do 2, and then the length is 15.
Length is 15, my width is 2. This is why it's important that we pay attention up here. So 2 times the length times the width. So 2 times 15 is 30, times 2 is 60. I'm going to add that to my 2 times the length times height. So what do I put in for there, Zoe? Yeah. Yes.
Do you have to register it with that, or do you have to?
So what I'm doing is I'm showing you different ways to get to the answer. This way is going to be an easier way. Do you get the same answer if you lay it out flat and do the surface area of each shape?
Yeah.
Sure. So you get the same answer. You can do which one you're more comfortable with. But we need to know each way to do it. Okay. This way will go faster. But we need to know how to use nets, and we need to know how to do it this way just is a quicker way. The farther we get in math, we want to do the quicker ways. Okay? So 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 15 is 150. Then I have one more. 2 times width times height. So what am I multiplying there? Lily? 2 times 2 times 5. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 5 is 20. So now I need to add these 3 numbers together. 60 plus 150 plus 20. What do I get, Gabby? 230, did you say? 230 meters squared. Okay, so sometimes you have to know how to turn a solid into a net. You have to know how to use those numbers, but you can also use just the formula to make it go a little bit easier. Instead of having to write out each, trying to make sure your picture looks right and that you put the numbers in the right spot, sometimes it's easier to use the formula. So it's good to know what the formula is. So let's look. Does everybody understand the formula? Okay. Let's look at our bottom. You are making a stadium cushion with a length of 1.5 feet, a width of 1.5 feet, and a height of 1/2 foot. The foam for the cushion costs $1.50, and the fabric costs 50 cents per square foot. How much does it cost to make the cushion? What shape is a cushion?
There can be any shape.
Friends, look at the information they gave us. They gave us the length, the width, and the height.
Oh.
What solid shape is that? It's not.
Square.
It's just one flat square. There's a height to it, right? So if there's a height to it, it's a rectangular prism. So we have it's a rectangular prism that's going to look like this. Okay, it's gonna be probably not quite as thick as what I made it. So we have 1.5 feet, 1.5 feet. Oh, I need to make it a whole lot smaller. I keep doing this. Ay. My finger keeps touching the wrong things. Okay. I want to make it a whole lot flatter. So it's a flat cushion. The height is only 1/2 foot. So it's 6 inches. So it's 1/2 foot. Now, find the surface area of the cushion. you could make a net of it. So you could have your base with the height there. So you sure can make a net and find the area of each of your shapes here. So this would be 0.5, this would be 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. So you could find your areas for each shape from your net. Or you could use the formula. So if it's 2 LW, so that would be 2 times the length of 1.5 times the width of 1.5 plus 2 LH. So 2 times 1.5 times 0.5 plus 2 WH, which would be 2 times 1.5 times 0.5. So you could choose just to do the math, or you could make it a net, find the area of each shape and add them together. Either way, we're doing the same thing. So what do we get for our surface area? Brielle? What is the surface area of the whole cushion? If we have the surface area for the 2 times the length times the width, what's 1.5 times 1.5? Times 2. So then this, what's 1.5 times 0.5 times 2? 1 point what? And then, so this would be 1.2, right? We add those up and we get 6.9 feet squared. That is the surface area of our cushion. The question is, how much does it cost to make the cushion? So we know our surface area. We need to find out how much fabric we need to cover that surface area. How do I find that? If I know my fabric costs 50 cents per square foot and I need 6.9 square feet, what do I have to do? I take what? 0.5.
And then you take 0.5 divided by 2 because it's 5.
If I need 6.9 square feet and I know that each of those square feet is 0.5, I multiply those two together, right? Okay, so 6.9 square feet times 0.5. How much money am I spending on my fabric, Landon? Say that again. $3.45 on my fabric. I don't just need fabric, I also need a cushion. How much is my cushion? My cushion costs $1.50. So what do I have to do to find out how much money I'm spending altogether? Anthony?
Subtract.
Well, I need to buy a cushion and I need to buy fabric. So why would I subtract? So I need to buy a cushion and I'm buying the fabric.
You just like add.
I add them together. So $1.50 for the cushion plus $3.45 for the fabric, and I get $4.95 to make a cushion. So it's a multi-step problem. You have to make sure, Nolan, I'll take that, please. So we want to make sure that we're doing each step of our problem. Do we have questions on finding the surface area? You have two different ways to find the surface area. One is to lay your solid out flat and find the area of each shape as it's laid out flat. The other way is to use our formula. 2 times length times width plus 2 times length times height plus 2 times width times height. So we have the two different ways to find that surface area. They both get you the same surface area. And then when we have those word problems, you need to make sure that you're following each step of the word problem to answer the question. Thumbs up, how we're feeling about surface area. Okay, a lot of us are feeling good. Some of us, there's a little shaky. I will be at the back table for my shakies, okay? For those of us at home, we hope you are well, and we hope to see you soon.